The cameras flashed, the headline screamed, a show launches and is immediately called, well, an existential catastrophe, a crime against television.
And yet, at the exact same time, that catastrophe was a huge, undeniable hit. I mean, Hollywood just got its clearest instruction yet. And it wasn't from critics, it was from 3.2 million views in 3 days.
And that number, it just fueled an immediate season 2 order.
You got it.
Welcome to The Deep Dive, styled as Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Today, we are diving deep into maybe the most fascinating and, frankly, a little terrifying paradox in streaming right now.
We are. We're talking about the renewal of Ryan Murphy's legal drama, All's Fair.
Yeah.
We're here to unpack how critical opinion, it's just not the final word anymore. It's barely even a footnote. For you listening, if you're trying to get your head around these huge shifts in entertainment.
Which we all are.
Exactly. We are going to break down the star power, the insane viewing numbers that just crush the reviews, and some of the spicy details from the cast who are now fighting back.
It really is a landmark moment. So let's just start with the cold, hard fact. Hulu officially renewed All's Fair for a second season.
Yep, that was Monday, November 24th, 2025.
And production is already being fast-tracked for spring 2026. This decision, I mean, in the face of just total critical scorn, it forces us to ask what a successful TV show even is anymore.
It really does. The question is, if a show generates enough heat, enough conversation, enough people signing up, does quality even matter?
And Hulu's answer seems to be a pretty firm no.
A resounding no, according to their balance sheet.
So for anyone who hasn't seen it, the context here is that All's Fair is a classic Ryan Murphy. It's high camp, super glamorous. It's a legal drama about these female divorce attorneys who leave their male-dominated firm.
To start their own powerhouse firm, right. And they're navigating all these huge, scandalous breakups.
And the cast. I mean, the cast was engineered for this moment.
Oh, it was expertly designed. You get Kim Kardashian as the lead, Allura Grant, and bam, you've got the entire pop culture, social media audience right there.
Right.
But then, to balance it, you anchor it with this incredible list of prestige actors. We're talking Glenn Close, Naomi Watts, Niecy Nash-Betts, and Sarah Paulson.
He was literally built to get people talking.
And it worked. Just maybe not in the way they expected with the critics.
Not at all. And this is the paradox you have to wrap your head around. The series currently holds a 3% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
3%. It's statistically difficult to get a score that low. I mean, you almost have to try.
The critics treated this show like a personal offense.
Oh, they did. The language they used was, it was something else. The Hollywood Reporter called it brain dead.
Oof.
The Telegraph, a crime against television. USA Today just went for it. The worst TV show of the year.
Wow. But The Guardian. The Guardian's review was the one that went viral.
That one was historic. It was one of only 18 zero-star reviews in the paper's entire history.
And the quote was just unforgettable. Fascinatingly, incomprehensibly, existentially terrible.
Yeah. And some of the critics got really specific, right? They went after the dialogue, the perceived lack of substance. One reviewer even compared the lead performance to, what was it? What Genghis Khan is to a peaceful liberal democracy.
That is just brutal. So
Exactly.
The message from critics was clear. Artistically, this show is a failure.
Total failure. But the studio, well, they heard that, pulled out their spreadsheets and said, we disagree.
Completely. So it's time to talk about the numbers that made that 3% score totally irrelevant, because this is where modern streaming economics just take over.
The financial side is just undeniable. When All's Fair debuted on November 4th, it pulled in about 3.2 million views globally.
And that's just in the first 3 days.
Just the first 3 days. That's not just a hit. That's a record breaker for Hulu.
Right. It made All's Fair Hulu's biggest scripted premiere in 3 years. So not just a success, but a benchmark. It hit #1 on their daily top 15 and just stayed there.
That initial viewership is huge, but the real currency, the thing that really matters to the platform, is what happens off the platform.
That's the key. That's where this idea of social velocity comes in. Get this. The show generated 10 billion social media impressions between early October and late November.
10 billion. Just sit with that number for a second. It's staggering.
And for Hulu, that is a massive cost saving. In the streaming world, the price to get a new subscriber, what they call customer acquisition cost, or CAC, it's gone through the roof. It can be $50, $60, even more.
So when you generate 10 billion impressions organically, through memes and arguments online.
Through pure controversy.
Exactly, you're saving hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing. The show being hated by critics became its most effective and cheapest marketing tool. People signed up because they just had to see what everyone was yelling about.
But I guess the question is, does that strategy eventually destroy creative quality? If every platform is just chasing controversy because it's cheaper than advertising, where does that leave the prestige drama? The stuff that built these platforms in the first place?
That is the big question in Hollywood right now. And the platforms, well, they seem to want it both ways. They need the prestige stuff to look legitimate, but they need shows like All's Fair to actually pay the bills.
And you can see that split in the audience numbers, too. Critics gave it a 3%. The audience approval on Rotten Tomatoes?
66%.
A huge gap.
It's massive. And it just shows that the audience knew exactly what they were getting. The BBC called it a high-camp aesthetic and statement fashion. Viewers weren't looking for a quiet character study. They wanted a spectacle.
And Hulu, with their timing, they played it perfectly. They announced Season 2 before the Season 1 finale even aired.
That timing is so important. We really need to understand why they did that. It's a classic churn mitigation strategy.
Right, to stop people from canceling.
Exactly. The moment a new subscriber finishes the show they signed up for, that's when they're most likely to cancel. It's what they call the breakup moment.
So by announcing Season 2 right before that moment,
you've given them a concrete reason to stay. You've extended the content runway. You've basically locked in that new subscriber for another 18 months or so until the next season actually comes out. It's brilliant financially.
It's a retention weapon built on pure noise.
Yeah.
And look, if you're finding these kinds of deep dives into how Hollywood's new economy actually works interesting, make sure you subscribe to Starscope Report. We're here every week breaking down these twists.
Okay, so let's get into the talent involved, because the commitment here, it goes way beyond a simple acting job. We mentioned the cast close, Watts, Paulson, but Kim Kardashian, Glenn Close, Naomi Watts, Niecy Nash-Betts, and Sarah Paulson are all credited as executive producers.
And Kris Jenner.
And Kris Jenner, of course, alongside Ryan Murphy.
That EP credit isn't just for show on a project this big. It guarantees they're all bought in. They all have a financial stake in this show succeeding, no matter what the critics say.
Right. And that blend of, Hollywood royalty with pop culture royalty is what's so unique here. It let them pull in other big names, too, like Jessica Simpson, who almost never acts.
Yeah, she had a guest role as a woman getting revenge after some bad plastic surgery. She said the role had very naughty scenes and was totally out of her comfort zone.
Everything about this show was designed to be a talking point, which meant the cast had to be ready for the backlash.
And Kim Kardashian, she's a master at managing her brand. She just leaned right into it.
She did. She went on Instagram and joked that it was the most critically acclaimed show of the year. Just completely owned it.
But it was actually Glenn Close, the veteran actress, who gave the most interesting defense. She really pushed back on the idea that the show was just, garbage.
She didn't hold back. She argued that the first 3 episodes, which is what most critics saw, were actually the weakest. She said the full season actually adds up to something.
Which is almost unheard of. She's basically asking for patience in a binge-watching world.
And she went even further. She talked very directly about working with Kim.
What did she say?
She was really specific. She said Kim always knew her lines. She never was late. She always was prepared. And then, crucially, she added that Kim had no pretensions that she was a great actress.
Wow. That's a powerful defense. She's basically saying Kim knew her role in the spectacle.
Exactly. Close even blamed some of the hate on a pre-existing bias against the Kardashian brand. She said, not everybody likes them.
Which is probably true. It feels like some critics were reviewing the idea of the show as much as the show itself.
But even the show itself, it fully embraced the absurd.
Oh, it did. And we can't end this without talking about the one line that basically solidified the show's identity and probably generated half those social media impressions on its own.
I know exactly the one you mean.
This line proves the whole campy, over-the-top vibe was 100% intentional.
Delivered perfectly by Sarah Paulson's villain, Carrington Lane. It's now a part of pop culture history.
See you in court, Cutburger.
There it is. That's the line. That's the entire aesthetic in 5 words.
That is the line Hulu paid for.
Yeah.
When you have dialogue that is that polarizing, that quotable, the normal rules just don't apply anymore. The conversation is the value.
And I think that's the ultimate takeaway here. The renewal of All's Fair confirms that in today's streaming world, visibility and getting new subscribers, Those 3.2 million views, those 10 billion impressions, that is functionally more valuable than good reviews.
They chose guaranteed eyeballs over critical respect. So the thought we'll leave you with is this. If this model is so successful, will we start to see creators intentionally bake in a layer of this fascinatingly terrible controversy into their shows just to guarantee a huge launch?
I mean, let's be honest, that calculation is probably already being made in boardrooms all over town. The show isn't just a show anymore, it's a blueprint.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.